You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, and Ryan Tejas is here with me, of course.
Hello.
If you're here for the very talented, hilarious Wendi McLendon-Covey, you are in for a treat. But if you end up liking the podcast, you don't know who the hell I am, all I ask is please subscribe afterwards and say, hey, you know what? I like this podcast. I check it out again. Write a review. It helps the podcast. And if you really want to support the podcast, and many of my patrons have been doing so and keeping this podcast afloat, please join Patreon. It's patreon.com/inside, patreon.com/inside. And if you can give back a little, help the podcast, that would be fantastic. We would really appreciate it. And it's people like our patrons who are friends who helped us keep this podcast going. Again, if you want to follow us go ahead, Ryan, you do this.
Oh, at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And at Inside of You Pod on Twitter.
Yes, thank you.
Sir.
That's correct. That's correct. And my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum. You can go to my link tree for Patreon, see all the cons I'll be at, Cameo, and all that. You can go to the Inside of You online store for Lexmas scripts and ship keys and lunch boxes of Smallville and so many cool things. Go to the Inside of You online store. Also on the link tree is Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath, my new product with my picture of me and my dogs. And you could just put a little cap full in your dog's water. If you want them to have good breath, it's odorless, tasteless. They'll never know. It's just like water to them. So it doesn't taste different like others. And yeah, people really like that. And the Talented Farter is still available on Amazon. It's been out for a couple months now. So if you want to get that, it's my fart book. And then buy one and then meet me at a con and I'll sign it for you, for crying out loud. So many cool things going on. I'm excited about the Smallville cruise. I'm excited about go to cruiseville.com. I'm excited about I'm excited about Wendi McLendon-Covey, to be honest with you. She was a great guest. And just as real as you get. You know what I mean? Sometimes you talk to people and you're like, I'm not getting the whole picture. It's like what you see is what you get with Wendi.
Yeah, she's
and
fun.
I really liked her. I immediately go, I want to hang out with this person. I like this person.
Yeah.
So let's just do it. Let's get inside of Wendi McLendon-Covey and let's do it. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. Yes, I'm a huge Foreigner fan. You like Foreigner? What's your favorite Foreigner song? Don't say Feels Like the First Time.
I think Urgent is such a great song.
You're playing tricks on my mind. You're everywhere, but you're so hard to find. That's it. Huh? I love it. You're you like the same shit. I think we're the same generation.
I think so.
Yeah.
Born in 1969.
Were you?
Yeah.
I thought you were younger than me. What do you use, Evian skin cream?
Yes.
What is it you use?
All the illegal substances. I just go down to Tijuana, get my stem cells.
But you have good
use them vigorously.
You have good skin.
It's the bane of my existence.
What product do you use?
I got to keep it real clean because my skin breaks out.
Me too. I
hives.
use Elta.
What?
Elta.
I don't know what that is.
I gave it to my friend, just morning and night, stuff you put on your face. We call that stuff lotion or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's a gentle cleanser.
Okay.
That's it. My life changed. So did all my friends. And they're not a sponsor or anything. They should be.
Wow.
But what do you use?
Right now, straight castor oil as a moisturizer.
What?
But like warm it up in your hand
liar.
and just sort of pat it on. That's all I can handle at the moment.
I don't even know. I don't even know. You're being serious.
Get into the castor oil vortex.
Have you ever heard of this, Ryan? Castor oil. I think motor, like cars. Why do I think cars?
It's not Penn's oil.
Oh, it's not Penn's
and it's
oil.
not oil for casters.
And
like
it's not oil of lay.
No.
Oil.
Yeah.
You've done so much stuff. I mean, you really have. You got to be like, I know you're probably like me. You're insatiable. It's never enough. It's never this. But like, you've been acknowledged. You've done a lot of great stuff. A lot of things that people know. People know you. People know you
Right.
from the Goldbergs. People know you from Bridesmaids. People know you from like Goosebumps. Like that. It's just everything. You do a lot of stuff.
Thank you. Yes.
Now,
Try to stay busy.
are you proud of the work you've done? Are you grateful? Are you learning to be more grateful? Are you learning to be more happy with what you've done and take a step back and look at yourself from the outside?
I love that question. I'm a workaholic, so it's never going to be enough. Okay. That's a character flaw that I have, but I like what I do, you know?
Yeah.
And I like telling stories. I like watching other people tell stories.
Yeah.
I like lifting other creators up if I can. I mean, I'm a good audience member and I want to get into more producing.
Because you were producing at the end of the Goldbergs.
Yes.
Did you get involved, or were you like, I'll just take the credit?
Well, as much as they would let me get involved.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time I was had that attached to my name, the show was kind of a well-oiled
Running
machine.
itself.
So
you throw an idea out there every once in a while.
Thrown an idea, a casting choice, blah, blah, blah. Was it mostly just a credit to shut me up? Probably. Or, you know, just to say they did it. And, you know, it's a nice little courtesy thing to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's other things I've produced where I have been very hands-on. And I like it. I love doing that. I love getting things off the ground. And I hope I can, you know, start to do more of that. But yeah, I have worked a lot more than people think I have.
Yeah, you've been around.
You know?
Yeah, and also I think that they forget that, like, they give us a title sometimes. So we'll give you an EP credit.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that us, you know, actors,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to casting, we should be helping them.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know other actors and we know what they're capable of and we see talent.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, when I've directed even TV, I was like, this kid, like, he's green. He doesn't have a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
I'll work with him. He's got something really special.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs their chance.
Yeah.
And we see things that they don't as producers and writers, because that's not really their,
Yeah.
you know, this is what we live and breathe.
They want to just plug in the person and then it's done. They can move on to the next thing.
Right.
But we are the ones that are actually acting with these people. We know if they're difficult. We know if they're a pleasure to work with. We can see
How
the bigger.
important is that to you?
It is everything.
It's
everything.
everything.
Am I talking too loud?
No.
Okay.
Too low. Remember Waiting for Guffman?
Too loud.
Remember Waiting for Guffman when he says, geez, like, listen, I really think I can't hear you. You're talking too low. And he goes, what I'm trying now, you're speaking too loudly. I just remember that. I always loved that. Did you always were you always sort of like an extrovert or somebody who wanted to entertain? Like, if you go back to like grade school, college, high school,
Mhm.
what were you like?
Always wanted to entertain, always wanted to do things in front of an audience, but wasn't like the most popular person.
Me neither. Wasn't
You know?
popular at all.
Because, and it's not that I was unpopular, but I didn't do the popular kid things. Like in my high school, we actually had fraternities and sororities.
In high school?
In high school.
Come on.
Now, it wasn't sanctioned by the school, but you did it. And we had like 5 big sororities and
That's
2
not fair.
big
That's
fraternities.
not right for other kids.
It's not
That's like
right
you're
at
starting
all.
that clique system right away.
Uh-huh.
There's already the cliques.
Yeah.
And now you're advancing the cliques.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not good. What was that for your self-esteem? Were you in one?
I didn't want to be in one.
Yeah.
So luckily I had overprotective parents who wouldn't let me go out on weeknights anyway. So
Yeah,
it
I
was
get
like,
it.
well, that works for me because I don't want to do this. And at the end, you know, by the time senior year rolled around, everyone hated each other. So it was fine. They all kind of caved in on themselves. But yeah, so I did like quote unquote high profile things, but I wasn't going out to parties every
Like
weekend.
high profile things like plays and things like that.
Yeah, I was a cheerleader. I was a dancer.
Whoa.
blah,
You were a
blah.
cheerleader. That's
Yeah.
popularity.
I guess it is if you hang with popular kids, but
So you
I
didn't.
was
You
just
just
friends
cheered
with
and-
whoever.
Yeah.
I didn't need, what was I going to do? Hang out with the football players? Like, what are we going to talk about?
Ryan was a football player. He was a
Well,
quarterback.
that's great. And obviously,
he's an
look
entertainer.
where he is. He's here now,
Yes.
being awesome.
But he's an entertainer and he does a lot of things. But like he was for a small school, small school and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But a cheerleader So everybody would go out and do things and you had to go home, and you were probably really smart, which you are now, obviously. So you probably studied a lot, got good grades. People thought, oh, Wendi McLendon, she is going places.
I don't know that anyone thought that. I graduated in 1987, and that was a time where it still wasn't a given that girls were going to go to college.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Yeah.
And I did well. I did okay in school, but it's not like I made it my whole personality. I was not someone who was like, gotta take the SATs, gotta get into a good
But your
school.
parents were strict, so weren't they
They were.
kind of telling you need to do these things?
They thought I would just be a stewardess. That's legit.
You can't
what
use
they
that word
thought
anymore,
I would.
though, right?
No.
It's a flight
attendant.
Yes,
But they
I would
really
never use
thought.
I don't think I've ever used stewardess. Stewardess.
I think it's a sexy word.
Could you imagine if I started using words that you weren't like really old-fashioned words? You can't say darling, thanks, honey. You can't do things like that.
Oh, shit.
You can't say
Oh, no.
stewardess. What else can you say?
You can't say secretary,
What do you say?
administrative assistant.
Sounds so.
I think secretary sounds prettier.
Yeah, secretary.
Secretary.
Yeah, no.
Gonna take some shorthand.
So your parents, like, were they harsh with you? Were they, when you say they disciplined you,
Mm-hmm.
who was the one who disciplined you, your mom or dad?
Mostly my mom.
And did she have a loud voice?
She did. And I need to say that I love my parents very much.
They're still with us.
They're still with
Thank
us.
God.
I love them. I had lunch with them yesterday. But yeah, my mom really cracked the whip at me. But I think this is because my mom got married at 17.
Mine too. I think 17. Yeah.
Oh, God.
She was pregnant with my brother at 16. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They got divorced the first marriage. She had 2 kids by the time she was 18.
Oh.
And then divorced. He was abusive. And then married my dad when she was 23 with a 5 and a 7-year-old or something. And married my
Wow.
dad who was 18. And then
Oh,
had me a year later.
my.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And then did they stay married?
27 years, but they probably should have got divorced way before that.
Oh,
you know
that's
what?
interesting.
You know, there's some people that when their parents get divorced, they're like, they really don't know what to do with
Right.
themselves, and they're shattered. Their world's shattered.
Yes.
For me, I was like, we're getting divorced. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that was hard, yeah. I've been saying that for a while. But the only thing that I think was tough was my mom didn't know how to live by herself.
Ooh.
And she, was really, I guess, suicidal. And I just got my first big show ever, Smallville. And she would call me at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Can you wait till after so we could talk about this, please? I could keep my eyes open. I was just like, so that was the tough part, dealing with that. And then, having to take care of her,
Right.
for the most part, since then. But that was the tough part. If I didn't have to deal with that, it was like, great, get a divorce.
Yeah.
You guys don't work.
Yeah.
Everything was passive aggressive. Everything was just not a fun place to be around.
Yikes.
But your parents got along real well. They listened to each other?
No, they probably,
No, actually they didn't.
No, they are still married. It's been 60 years.
Holy shit. That's a feat.
That is a feat. And now they're just in each other's DNA.
Yeah.
They cannot live without each other. But do they snipe at each other constantly? Of course they do. But if they ever broke up, they wouldn't feel right. They wouldn't know what to do. It'd be like losing a limb. So
that's why they say that people, couples, when one dies, the other dies soon after.
Yes.
But so they're together 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're married
Mm-hmm.
for 10?
28 years.
Whoa! I was off. 28
years and together for 31. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really like him.
You really like him?
I really do.
Would you say he's just like, because, being in this industry and, especially me, I think about, it's like, God, who could put up with me? And when you find someone who could actually put up with you, but also tell you to fuck off.
Yes.
And sort of just say, and just, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They've seen it.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling.
Oh,
right?
It's the best feeling in the world.
Because you don't know who you're getting involved with when you date an actor.
I've never dated an actor, so I don't know what that's like. But I can imagine it would, being with me is no picnic.
Why? What's difficult about you?
I'm emotional.
Do you cry often?
I don't cry often, but I get frustrated very easily, like with tech things.
Oh, well, who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't because he's a genius.
He's a tech
and
genius,
he's a wizard. Yeah, exactly. So he's very calm, whereas I am very flighty, but I'm also someone who will never say die. Like, you know that line in The Princess Bride? I know I'm really
I
getting
like this.
esoteric
I like
here,
where
but
we're going.
The Princess Bride, Billy Crystal's character says, mostly dead is slightly alive. That's how I am with life. If there's a 1% chance of something, there's still a chance. We play in the 1%.
That's Jim
We
Carrey.
play in the margins. What's
Yeah.
Jim Carrey?
Well, Jim Carrey said something like that. She's
oh,
like,
really?
Out of 1,000,000%, what was it? Like, what are the chances of a girl like me and a guy like you making it? And she's or going out. She's like, one in a this or 1 in a million. She's like, 1 in a million. He goes, so you're saying there's a chance?
There you go.
So you're always that.
I'm always that.
I think that's probably why you're so successful, because you're a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that tells a lot about you. Like, you know, even your story about auditioning for Reno 911,
Right.
where you kind of said, well, you tell a story. You didn't have an agent, right?
No, I didn't. I had this useless manager who was someone who would kind of stalk the Groundlings. And there's a few of those. They've probably changed over the years, but at the time that I was in the company, there would be people who were always at the shows, always kind of scouting talent. And she snapped me up, but she wasn't doing anything. And she never did do anything for me. No, not at all. Not at all. She made it sound like she could walk me through the front door of SNL.
Of course, that's what they all say.
You know, they all say that. But yeah, so I was subbing for someone in a show. And that night, an assistant from Julie Ashton's office came to see the show.
Sounds like an important name.
Yeah, Julie Ashton. She's a casting director. She casts a lot of comedies. But her assistant came and brought me in for Reno. Now, Reno had been a pilot on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
2 years went by. The option lapsed, so they sold it to Comedy Central. They were looking for someone to replace another girl.
Right.
And we were given very little information about what this was, just a sexy cop from Reno. The word Reno is very specific. Think of Reno. Think of its citizens. Sexy Reno. How about she just thinks she's sexy? That's what I think.
Was that your choice?
Yes.
Like,
she just
good.
thinks she's sexy and doesn't need you to tell her that she is or isn't. She knows. That I can play. A real sexy girl, just look out the window. You can find anyone to do that.
Okay.
But someone who thinks she's hot,
A little naive.
well, listen, I got my mirror and I know what I'm seeing. And it looks pretty good. If I can get these pants zipped, I'm wearing them out of the house, you know?
Inside of You is brought to you by Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. I have seen a few of my friends who were losing their hair, and I'm amazed at the results with Nutrafol. I could say some names if I want. Joe, Tom. These are real people. I know. If you know them out there and you're listening, it certainly has helped. Your hair is so much more than what you see when you look in the mirror. From stress and nutrition to hormones to lifestyle, so many internal factors affect what you see on the outside. With Nutrafol's science-backed whole body approach, nourish growth from within and achieve your best hair yet.
Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages, such as postpartum or menopause, and lifestyle factors such as plant-based lifestyle, so you can get just what you need.
Physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supports hair growth from within by targeting possible key root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health.
While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy. In Nutrafol's own clinical study, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage after taking Nutrafol Men hair growth supplement for 6 months.
And 86% of women saw improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol Women Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months. Building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required, automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free naturopathic doctor consults, and a Headspace meditation membership is included. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code INSIDE. Find out why over 4,500 professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code INSIDE. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code INSIDE.
Yeah, I went into that
What'd you
audition
wear?
with
Nothing.
something very boring. Just, I think I wore all black and it wasn't terribly sexy.
Okay.
But I went in, again, with no expectations because I was just ready to quit the business and just do
Really?
the Groundlings. Yeah, I was like, I'm 32 years old. I'm not getting
It's
anywhere.
over.
I might have started this too late in life.
God.
So, yeah, I went in with no expectations and I wasn't nervous because I didn't care. And I think that's why it worked. I think that's why it
One
went my way.
audition?
2. I went in once for Tom and Ben and Carrie, and
Love them
I don't
all.
know who else.
Love them all.
and then I went in, I guess, for the network or something. And it seemed to go my way. And I called my manager and said, I think I booked a pilot. She goes, what? When did you go out for a pilot?
Oh, boy.
I didn't know anything about a pilot.
Did you pay her?
I did.
Because she
I
has
did.
to, because you're on contract.
Yeah.
And you got it. Was
Yeah.
that like all of a sudden you go from I'm on the brink of just ending this career and doing something else to holy shit, I made it.
Kind of like, oh, I knocked another brick out of the wall
Yeah.
with my head,
Seriously.
So you do the pilot and then you wait to see if it gets picked up, and it got picked up, and okay, I guess we're off to the races, but I never quit my day job.
Did you improvise constantly on that show?
That's all it was improv. Yeah.
Did you ever, what was it one moment from the show that you remember that you just go, that was my best moment, or one of my best moments when you improvised something and it was just off the cuff and you knew it was gold?
I think it was season 5, and I was in a morgue with a bunch of teenagers.
Marty laughing.
Yeah. You know how you take those trips to the morgue with teenagers. And we were talking about the corpse on the table under the sheet had been killed by a drunk driver. So I delivered a sermon on how to
Made it up
on the fly about how don't drive drunk unless you know how to do it properly. And the only way to do it properly is to practice. So I did this in 1 or 2 takes.
Was everybody
and it was
howling?
pretty good.
Was everybody howling?
I don't remember.
You were just in the zone.
I don't remember, but it just flowed right out of me.
Is it hard when you're improvising in the beginning to kind of listen for reaction and learn not to and stay in the moment, because that will take you out and you'll forget your path?
Yes.
How hard is that?
It is very hard, especially when the scene has 8 people in it and everybody wants to be a part of it. Everyone wants to participate. But again, you got to treat it like it's real life. And in real life, you don't all talk over each other.
No.
Hopefully not.
You hopefully listen to each other.
Yes.
Go in that direction.
What's that word again?
Yeah.
Listen? Yes. That's the most important
when you say that's the most
thing.
important. Yes.
Yeah.
The most important.
Yeah.
Because you can't go, I did some Groundlings, and you can't just say, if someone goes, all right, this is a great supermarket, it's got everything. It's like, no, this is not a supermarket. This is, you can't change gears. You have to go with the flow.
You have to go with it, or you just screwed your partner and the audience hates you.
Have you worked with people who you're like, they don't know what they're doing?
Yes.
And they think they know what they're doing. They think they know how to improvise.
Yeah.
And they're fucking my shit up.
Yes.
What do you do?
You have to let the director do what he does.
Do they usually figure it out like, okay, Wendi knows what's going on, but this person, why don't you just not say much? Why don't you just say react?
Or how about let her get that line out and then you can say whatever. It's hard to direct improvisers unless you are one yourself.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be in a scene with someone who just wants to say their premeditated punchlines, whether or not they're even actually funny.
Yeah. Do you ever get nervous though while you're improvising?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Power through it. That's all you can do.
Do you think funny things come out of that because you're so nervous that you're just on almost like, fight or flight?
Well, I think the comedy really comes from letting yourself free fall for a little bit. You have to be comfortable with that and really not denying. Just go where it takes you. Go where the conversation takes you and something funny will happen as long as you keep saying yes. Yes, and then I did this. Yes, I am a thief and I also do this. Like
right.
Some people, their first reaction is to say, nuh-uh, like when they're labeled as something bad.
Yeah.
Big mistake. When someone labels you something bad, that's the biggest gift they can give you. They just gave you a big old morsel of information that you can expand on.
Yes.
Take it and run with it. Exhaust it.
I love that. I love when a director will shoot one and then they'll say, Rosie, just go. Yeah. And I just love to just like all these things, even right where they're rolling, I'm thinking of like, okay, I'm going to start with this and I'm going to look at his shirt. I'm going to talk about his shirt and I'm going to just ideas start going. Yeah. It's not like you just action and then things happen. It's like you sort of have an idea of what you want to talk about. Right.
Right.
Well, who is the best improviser that you've ever worked with? I know that's hard because you were classmates with Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph and Melissa McCarthy and Caitlin Olsen, right? So it's like, but is it hard to answer that?
No, it's really easy. Okay. Yeah, it's really easy. Jim Rash is an amazing improviser and can save a floundering scene. Gary Anthony Williams.
Yes, I've seen him. He's brilliant.
Can improvise circles around everybody and can do the song improvs that most people can't do.
Why isn't he a huge star?
Well, he's doing pretty well.
He does, but like that guy should be like a superstar.
Well, he's on Night Court now.
Yeah. Is that a big show?
I think it's going to really explode this season.
Good.
I have a feeling.
Because he should be doing major motion pictures.
Oh yeah.
He's
fantastic. And did you see The Hunt for QAnon, the Reno movie we did?
Did you see it? No. I got to see that.
Oh.
Is he great in that?
Yes,
I gotta
he's
watch
great.
It.
It's actually a really funny movie. I'm very proud of this.
All right, I'm going to see it.
Filmed on the haunted Queen Mary.
I filmed there as well.
It is terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Late, I couldn't sleep the whole night.
Oh, did you stay on there?
I stayed the night.
Okay, the boiler room.
Creeptastic.
Is creeptastic. That is very true.
It is. It really was unnerving. And even if you go in there going, oh yeah, this is haunted, no matter how much you try to play it off, you're like, what if this is true? It doesn't feel right, does it?
Not in the boiler room. And believe me, I'm into all the woo-woo.
In the boiler room.
I made myself available on that ship. I just walked by myself and was like, who wants to come out and play?
Mistake.
And I didn't feel bad anywhere except that boiler room. I felt really like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah. Do you look back in your Groundlings classes and remember people that you were like, I was sure they were going to make it and they didn't? They didn't pop. And you were like, I thought this person was so freaking funny. Or did that not exist? The people that you thought were funny did make it.
It's funny. The people I thought were funny, they made it, but maybe they're not big names. But when I say they made it, like they're making a living.
They're working.
Yeah.
But you thought they'd be bigger as well.
They'd be household names or something. But maybe, life took them on a different path. They had kids. They, structured their life a little differently. But I wouldn't say they made the wrong choices. They made a nice little life for themselves. And,
right.
They're not asking anyone for money.
Making it really, I mean, if you think about it, is just being a working actor.
Yeah,
You've made it.
Yeah.
If you're making any money acting,
exactly.
you've made it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, but
Yeah.
I'm just thinking this person I just thought would be working with Jim Carrey, or they'd be bigger than me.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you exactly who should have stuck with it.
All right.
So when I first got into even taking classes at the Groundlings, I saw a show when I was 23 years old, and it took me 4 years to call and sign up for classes because I just was too nervous to even pick up the phone.
Yeah.
So I was working at a shitty Ramada in Anaheim near Disneyland. Not there anymore.
Like other Ramadas aren't shitty.
Well, this one was
particularly
unsavory.
Right.
And my friend that I had known since junior high and high school, she got me the job there. She took class with me at the Groundlings. So we were two secretaries. Okay, that's a callback from earlier.
You could say it, I can't.
Two secretaries in the sales department of this Ramada driving out to LA on the weekends to take our little class, our little fun shop improv class that was not even on track to being in the company. It was just like, hey, do you think you're funny and you want to do something on the weekends? Well, come and take this little class. So she and I took class. We got through Fun Shop 1. We got through Fun Shop 2, the beginner classes. We auditioned. We got into basic. She's so funny that she would be rivaling Melissa McCarthy right now if she had stayed.
Jesus.
But she was asked to repeat a level and decided, that means I'm not good. I'm not going to do this anymore. So she just stayed with hospitality. However, life is long, and I think she needs to get back into it because
Why don't
she
you
is
give her that
such.
boost? Have you told her?
I have told her this, and other people have told her this,
What
independent
does she have
of me.
to lose? Why can't she just go audition for something or take another class
Well,
to get it loose?
Unfortunately, she moved to Oklahoma.
And there's not a lot of improv.
There's not
there.
a lot of improv there.
Yeah.
But they are building studios there, and there are, there are things that film in Oklahoma. They give good tax breaks. And I wish, I'm sorry for humanity that they don't know how funny this girl is.
Yeah.
And she's just funny. Like, she's the funniest person just at brunch. She's the funniest person.
She makes you laugh like nobody else.
Like nobody else. She's
Get her
the
in.
best.
Get her in.
Yeah.
The world needs more funny.
I wish I could do this for her, but she has to want it as much as I want it for her,
Yeah. No, I agree. I got to ask you this. You could say, you don't want to answer it. There's a couple things. But rules of engagement. Did you have fun on that?
It was so fun.
Now, I always hear this rumor, and I like them both, but that Patrick Warburton and David Spade didn't get along. Is that true?
I never saw that.
Oh, you never saw that? I always heard it.
I never saw a single thing that would substantiate
it was
that.
Misinformation.
Yeah.
Would you say misinformation?
Misinformation, which would be a great drag name.
Misinformation.
Misinformation.
I love that. I almost love it as much as, God, there was another one because I watched that Dragula show.
Serotonin?
No, it's something with Beaver.
Oh.
It's Sigourney Beaver.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
That's her name. She's great too. I think she won one season of Dragula. It's drag.
Sigourney Beaver. That's awesome. I want to be friends with that person.
I know. Inside of You is brought to you by Shopify. Look, folks, if you have an idea and you've been thinking about this idea for a long time, and do it. It's 2025. Be your own boss. Start your own business. Whether it's a big business or small business, Shopify is here to help you. I love Shopify. Shopify makes it simple to create your brand, open for business, and get your first sale. Get your store up and running easily with thousands of customizable templates, no coding or design skills required. All you need to do is drag and drop. Ryan, how long have I had this podcast? 6 years?
I've been on it for 6.
So 7?
Yeah.
And I have been using Shopify ever since it started, and it has only grown. It is so easy to do this. And a lot of people are putting off these ideas and these things they have. put pen to paper or put finger to keyboard and get going. Because, I have products that I sell on the podcasts, and it's so easy to upload a picture of the product, put the price, a description, and get going. Everything's right there for you with Shopify. It's so easy to navigate, and I can't figure out anything. I don't like reading directions. I'm not your guy, but I am your guy when it comes to Shopify. I'm telling you, this is so easy, and you could start making money right away using Shopify, and I really suggest you do it.
Shopify makes it easy to manage your growing business. They help with the details like shipping, taxes, and payments from one single dashboard, allowing you to focus on the important stuff like growing your business.
Yeah, what happens if you don't act now? Will you regret it? What if someone beats you to the idea? Don't kick yourself when you hear this again in a year because you didn't do anything now. You got to try Shopify. Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/inside, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/inside to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/inside.
The title of the book, The Talented Farter.
Yes.
That's been a theme.
Never.
This is a wonderful story about a little boy whose only gift, his only real talent is tooting. He can make his toot sound like everything you hear in everyday life. So little Michael loved Halloween, but nothing frightened his friends more than when Michael would stink up a good scare. Can you hear that?
Oh, I heard it.
It is a lovely story, and it's beautifully illustrated by my friend Heath, and Simon & Schuster's putting it out. It's going to be in tons of bookstores and available on Amazon. I'm so proud of it.
At this point in your life, before the Goldbergs, you were recognized. People would come up to you and say, "Oh my God, you're so funny. I like you." But the Goldbergs changed your life, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and do you remember the audition for that?
I didn't have to audition for that.
They offered
I
it to
got
you.
that because of rules of engagement, I think, because I worked with these amazing producers, Doug Robinson and Annette
I worked
Davis.
with Doug, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite. He's
a nice guy.
my bro. But yeah, when the Goldbergs was being put together, they considered me for that, and they started kind of asking me about it right before pilot season. So like before Christmas of that year.
Right.
And I was getting offers for certain things, which is great. Wow, I never thought I'd be in this position. But weirdly, I looked like Adam's mom. If you see pictures of the real Beverly and me together, we
Goldberg,
look a lot alike. And I understood that character. And when they showed me the home movies, I was like, oh, yes, I could absolutely do this.
And that was
absolutely want this. Yeah. And my agents were saying, no, we're not going to just take it. We're not going to just take it. We have other things, come on now, play it cool. You've got other things coming in. We want you to meet with these people. And I'm like, but this is what I want to do. This is what my heart is. Like, I don't want to do those generic things. This is funny to me. And it seemed to work out. But again, the same manager who told me.
You had to pay her again for the Goldbergs?
No. This is a different one. So
okay.
I got, I had a couple of bad managers before I got the one I currently have, who is a game changer. But I was with a guy who thought I should not do Bridesmaids because it wasn't going to go anywhere and he didn't find it funny.
What?
And I said, well, I think working is better than not working. And I got this. They asked me to the table read 3 years prior. Like, I was on the journey with these girls. And
They wanted you.
They were nice enough to keep bringing me in, and I booked the job against all kinds of other people. Yeah, I'm going to do it. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I did that. And at the time, I also had my genius manager was like, well, you got to write a blockbuster movie or sell a TV show. Like, it's that easy. And I said to him, well, I have this thing about a performing arts teacher in the 80s and blah, blah, blah. Stop right there. No one wants to watch a show that takes place in the 80s. It's not going to sell. It's not going to sell. Put that out of your mind. Oops, who booked a show that was on for 10 years about being in the 80s? And Bridesmaids, it seemed to do okay.
It seemed to do all right.
How
How was it
think it
working
did
with those
all right.
ladies?
It was like going away to summer camp.
It was just
And
easy.
believe me, it's not like any of us knew what the hell was happening. In my view, it was just like, we're going to work.
How
This is
much
awesome.
improv was in that?
A lot. How much? I don't know what the percentage is of what actually got in, but
you
there's
were always
a lot
improvising.
a lot. Yeah. A lot of the deleted scenes live on YouTube, and there's
Constantly
so many
laughing on
funny
set?
things. Yeah. It was really, really
Did you
fun.
think this is when you're doing it? Because a lot of times we've done this. We've done projects where we're like, I don't know, the producer keeps saying the dailies are hilarious and this is great. And we go, yeah.
I never trust that.
I don't trust
I
anybody.
never
I don't
trust it.
anybody. Oh my God. Every project. Oh, but wait till you saw this is gonna. I know that's not a good sign.
That's a terrible sign.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah. Don't tell me anything, because let's all remember this thing has to get edited.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to have a nice through line, and maybe
You've got
some
to
of
care
the
about you guys.
Yeah. And we've got to give equal time to everybody. And there's an ABC that we have to follow. And, look, the final cut was fine, but I know there were funnier things that happened, but who cares? I mean, It is what it is. And whenever I go onto a project now where they say, oh, this is going to be a big deal, I think, well, I won't be watching it then. I know it's going to suck.
But you can't. This is the thing. Like, we're about to pitch a big actress for this show that I created, and I'm excited. And you can't go in there and go, I think it's got a chance.
Yeah.
So you got to sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really do believe it, that it's going to be something great.
Yeah.
So I think when there's passion, but people could see through bullshit. So as long as you're level with people, like, listen, I truly believe this is awesome, and here's why I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I want you to do it. There's ways of doing that. But producers and agents, they have this propensity to sort of just, everything's great. This is going to be great for you. You have to do this. You have to do this. Everything's, because you got to remember, they're looking out for themselves. They're looking out for a paycheck. They get you on a show. They don't have to worry about you anymore, and they're getting 10% of everything you make.
Exactly. And that's not a bad thing. That doesn't make them bad people. That's how the game is played.
They have to be good.
Like, okay, I got this client a job. Great. Now I can focus on getting this client a job. Great. She's working. I don't have to hear it anymore. Just, it's numbers. It's absolutely numbers. That's why you cry to your manager, but you don't cry to your agent.
Get right.
Let
him do the dirty work and be the middleman.
Exactly.
When did you know, oh my God, there's a net. When did you know, there's another net right there. When did you know that Bridesmaids, this is going to be big? Wow. Was it in theaters? Is that when you knew, or did you know when you were like, everybody was saying this thing?
I think that came as a surprise to a lot of us, only because we weren't getting good reviews in the beginning. Critical reviews were very mixed. And I think it was, again, as the actor, you can't do anything about it. All you can do is go where you're told to promote. And they were really doing a lot of promotions. There were, when I went to Times Square and saw all the billboards, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yes, I did.
That's beautiful.
But I think it was a couple weeks in when we just kept building. The box office kept building, and word of mouth was good. Like that's everything. Then we figured, all right, maybe we'll get some residuals.
Yes, speaking of that, I'm guessing you probably didn't get paid a ton for Bridesmaids, but after your first residual check, it was more than what you had made for the movie.
Sure. Yeah. And they gave us bonuses. They gave us little.
Do you still get residuals?
Yeah, but they're considerably smaller because it's been 14 years.
So maybe a couple thousand a year in residuals.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the Goldbergs, that lasted 10 years?
10 years. 10 years.
And you did. Yeah, wow. Was it always troublesome, or was it in the beginning, it was fun for a while?
No, it was always troublesome.
It was?
Yeah.
It was never fun to go to work?
No, it was fun to go to work in spite of that.
And how did you deal with it?
Stuff it under the rug.
You
and,
just
and
were
just
like, here we go. I'm going to go
overcompensate.
sit down until this is done.
I would just be there doing my best. I could only control what I could do.
Did you ever say, would you just shut the fuck up and
Yes.
do your lines and stop?
Of course.
Please. What
Of
are
course.
you doing?
Of course.
Of course. I've done that before.
And then be met with, you're pretty. Like that's going to jolly me out of being frustrated.
like he would try to charm you.
Sure.
Like, I'm sorry. And
yeah. But again.
But you had fun on the show.
No, the show, those were the greatest 10 years of my life.
Really?
Had the best time. I get emotional still.
Really?
Yeah. And
What makes you
love
emotional?
watching the old episodes. I love it.
What makes you emotional?
Watching the kids grow up and knowing what I know about them and watching them, they flourished, getting to know their families. Every crew member, I adore. We watch so many babies get born, so many marriages,
That is beautiful.
so many, people got sober, people, built families, people built friendships. Like, I love those people and they know how much I love them. I made sure everybody understood how much they were loved. And every guest star we had was amazing. And we had a lot of
our friend Cedric,
who
introduced
was
us.
an amazing
Love him. He's
recurring
so funny.
guy. Yeah.
He's so funny. He's so charming and
Yeah.
talented. I love him. I
and
love him.
was a gift every time he was on set.
Because he's just an energy.
And they
when
love-
he's there, it's this energy
Yeah.
that he has that you just want to hang out with him.
Yeah.
You want to be around him.
100%.
Yeah.
Like integrated perfectly. There was a few years where he was doing his own show and it's like, damn, we can't get Cedric because he's off doing his own thing. But then, we got him back for a while. And Tim Meadows, Dan Bacadal, all the Frentas, Stephanie Courtney.
Who's your favorite guest star?
Oh, Stephen Tobolowsky, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
He has the best stories. He is a fascinating man. Have you had him on this show?
No.
Oh my God.
I'd love him.
Just listen to a couple of his episodes of his own podcast.
Would he do the
Tobolowsky-
podcast?
I bet he would.
Well, if you asked him.
He would do it if you asked him. What are you talking
All
about?
right. No, I don't know, but I
What?
don't know him.
You are Michael Rosenbaum.
You hear that, Dad? I'm someone.
This is a big deal.
Jesus.
He is a doll and fascinating and has worked with everybody. He's got some messed
Write
up
that down.
stories. Really, really interesting guy. You'll do a 4-part episode with him.
That good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was Owen Wilson like to work with in Paint?
Delightful.
Was he?
Very sweet, very soft spoken.
Do you think maybe we could just try this? I don't know if we just do like the camera comes around on Wendy and discovers her. I think that'd be really cool.
He's
Is he
just
just
that's
calm
exactly
like that?
very calm. Has his sweet dog with him all the time, and he looked adorable in that movie. I thought he was so funny. I wish the movie had done better than it did, but I thought it was a fun, messed up little story.
Yeah, I want to watch that too. And the Vicky White story.
Yeah.
I got to see this because
Okay.
it's a Lifetime movie. No.
Mhm.
This,
Yeah, it
is.
was. It was.
And it's based on the manhunt for escaped inmate Casey White and Lauderdale County jailer Vicky White.
Mhm.
I've just based on that. I love crime.
Mhm.
How much did you love it?
Okay, that came about in a very weird way. So when we were about to start in with season 10 of the Goldbergs, I was given a little production deal with Sony. Okay. And they were talking to me well, what kind of things would you want to do? And I said, well, there's a story in the news right now about this prison guard who busted her boyfriend out of jail and they went on the run for 2 weeks and now she's dead. I kind of look like her and I think it would be fun to play her. Well, apparently somebody agreed. So they started talking
Just
about
like
this.
that.
They started talking about this internally and talking to my manager about it. And soon it was set up at Lifetime. Now, that would not have been the first place I would go.
But they
but
wanted to make it.
They tell these stories.
Yeah.
They tell these ripped from the headline stories.
Did you have a lot to say?
I'd had a lot to say.
Great.
We got these 2 amazing writers who wrote a script that was so factually accurate. Lifetime makes
I
you
like
do
that.
annotated stuff because if it's ripped from the headlines, you got to be able to back it up, okay, with truth. And Stan Brooks, who was an amazing director, and I wanted it to be gritty. I wanted it to be not a Lifetime movie. I wanted it to have a different flavor.
Yeah.
And you know how when you watch Hamilton, I know this is going all over the
I've
place,
never seen
but
Hamilton.
you haven't seen it.
I
Okay.
know. I'm an idiot. Have you seen it?
No, you're not an idiot.
Everybody's seen it, but I haven't.
But here's the thing. In the opening number, they tell you what's going to happen. He's going to die. He's going to get shot. But you watch the whole thing
To see how it would happen.
hoping, well, maybe
happen that
not.
way.
Maybe not. That's how I wanted you to feel. You know it's gonna end badly. We saw it play out. But I want you rooting for these two people because I do believe that this was the best 2 weeks of her life.
Oh, man.
I really do believe that they were in love, as fucked up as it was. I don't believe, because, people were saying like, oh yeah, he was manipulating her. You can't manipulate a woman in her 50s if she doesn't want to be manipulated. She had nothing to go back to. She took care of her ex-husband, drug addict, with Parkinson's until the day she died. She lived in a house next door to her mother to look after her mother. This was a good person.
She never did anything for herself.
No, she didn't. And I think she snapped and said, wait, I've done all the right things for my whole life. Where's my prize? I'm in my 50s. Because she made it all explode the week she was going to retire.
I don't know what happened, so I shouldn't even ask you, huh?
I mean, it's worth watching our movie, and then it's worth watching the Netflix documentary that just came out, that literally just came out. Our movie came out a year ago, couldn't promote it because of the strike. This documentary just came out, and we got so many things right, and we didn't even know it.
Really?
Just operating on instinct, even the looks of things.
I gotta see it.
I'm really proud of it. And Rossif Sutherland, who's Kiefer's half brother, he played Casey. We needed to get someone who was really tall because Casey was 6'9".
Jeez, that's a tall fella.
So it is possible they were pushing him in a wheelchair in certain areas so that he's very easily recognizable.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm really proud of it.
No,
Blah, blah, blah.
I could sense that. And I want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you questions about it because I want to see it selfishly. Selfishly. Shellfishly.
Yeah.
Don't be so shellfish. Hey folks, it's me, Michael Rosenbaum. Listen, if you're a supporter of the podcast, if you're enjoying these interviews, we ask you if you can join Patreon, patreon.com/insideofyou, and help the podcast. It's a great way to build a community and friends, and there's a lot of benefits. There's different tiers. There's one where I give you packages every couple of months, a bunch of gifts, and write a note. You get your name shouted out on the podcast, and much, much more. But most importantly, you'll be helping the podcast. So if you want to become a member of Patreon and support this podcast, that would be awesome. So just go to Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/insideofyou. And I really appreciate you. Thanks. When you were growing up, who did you admire? Who was like, oh man, I want to be like that?
Ooh.
And has that changed?
Yeah. I love Tracy Ullman.
Dude, I was just talking about Tracy Ullman. I know Tracy Ullman because I was name dropped, but I was close friends with Carrie Fisher, and Tracy would always come over, and she hated my 80s music. She hated that I loved 80s music, and we laughed and joked. So I just emailed her yesterday. I haven't talked to her forever to see if she'll come on the podcast. I love her. I don't know she'll do it, but like I think she's a genius.
I don't know why she wouldn't. I don't know why she wouldn't.
She is the most underrated actor ever.
And yet, when you bring up her name, that's the response you get.
Isn't that something?
I love her.
Why isn't she in every movie?
She keeps it pretty low key, though.
She is low key. Yeah.
She keeps it low key.
I love that you said that.
She is brilliant. I buy whatever she's selling.
Awesome.
And when she first came on the air in the 80s with the Tracy Ullman show, which is where we got the Simpsons, okay? I thought that right there, that's what I want to do.
It was ahead of its time.
This is exactly what I want to do. Play different characters, make people laugh this much. I mean, her ability to just make you forget that you're watching Tracy Ullman.
Commit.
Yes.
She commits like no one else.
She is goals for me.
Who would you love to work with besides Tracy Ullman?
Besides Tracy,
I mean, you work with
Samuel
Sally.
L. Jackson. I
would
think
love
he and
to
I
work
would be
with-
adorable together.
I think you would be.
I think we'd have a lot of adventures. I think Regina Hall is, I did get to work with her on Think Like a Man 2. I got to work with all those fun ladies.
Awesome.
But Regina Hall is probably the most naturally funny person I've ever spoken to.
Wow.
Like, she is just a love bug. I would do anything to do something with her. Let's see, who else? Who would you want to work with?
Gary Oldman.
Yes. Are you
Oh my
watching Slow
God.
Horses?
A little bit. I'm
Okay.
getting into it.
Okay.
Kristen Wiig. I think she's one of the funniest people on the planet too. I don't know. I mean, Harrison Ford's a little. I mean, I'd love to work, but he's getting a little old. So I don't know how much fun it would be. Be like, yeah, look,
I bet it would be very fun.
look, kid. I can't even hear what he's saying when he's talking. I go, what? Karis, I'm sorry, I can't hear you when you're speaking.
Right.
There's a lot. I mean, I don't know. There's so many great actors, but like I think Gary Oldman. I think, yeah, I don't know. Danny McBride. I think he's one of the funniest people on the planet.
Funny. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
funny.
I mean, that's it. Who's your favorite all-time serious actor?
I do love Meryl Streep.
You worked with Sally Field. I mean, come on.
I did work with Sally Field
Oh, she's
in a
one of my
strange little
favorites.
movie. And I was so intimidated.
I bet she was so nice.
She was so sweet. But, she's playing kind of a kooky woman, and I was playing her bitch sister-in-law. So I kind of, maintained those boundaries. But all I wanted to do was like, oh my God, I love you so much. You're such an inspiration, blah, blah, blah.
My God.
She's amazing.
Just want to hug her.
Okay, I love Liam Neeson.
Listen to me.
And I did get to do a movie with him, but I was mostly cut out. I didn't.
Which one?
Called Mark Felt, the man who took down the White House or something like that. I played his secretary. And
I think
he was
actually I
lovely.
heard about that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
He was lovely.
Mhm.
He's tall and handsome
Yes.
and charming and
And
just
very
has
sweet.
a lot of presence.
And very funny, too. I love watching him in comedies, too. Like,
Yeah.
do you remember that movie, Husbands and Wives, that Woody
I
Allen
do remember.
did?
Yeah.
He was great in that.
He was funny. It's amazing how, don't you feel like a lot of comedic actors are usually the best actors?
I think so, too, because it's hard.
For some reason, if you look at like Robin Williams and Jim Carrey, and
Uh-huh.
like if you think that, no, they can't do drama. They're just going to be
Yeah.
funny. But there's such darkness that they have within. And I think that's why it resonates.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you probably love doing drama. It's probably a lot easier for you. Even though comedy's easy,
Yeah.
it's probably easier to do drama. You don't have to think about
See,
improvising.
I couldn't
and all
tell
that.
you that. I couldn't tell you if that is true. Because you still sometimes have to improvise in dramas. You know.
Sure.
I couldn't say one's harder or easier than the other. It's the same. Like, tell the truth
Yeah.
in both.
I mean, I love doing
And shut up
comedy.
and listen.
Yeah. I mean,
You
I
know?
love doing comedy. I love making people laugh. But when somebody gives me good, you know what it is? It's the writing. It's all about the material.
Yeah. If the story stinks or has big
Doesn't
holes in
matter.
it, it doesn't matter. You
Doesn't
can't make
matter.
it funny or emotional.
It's got to be
just-
the perfect storm, I
Yeah.
think. Like with the Goldbergs, it was like the perfect time, the perfect actors, the perfect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bridesmaid, it was the perfect cast, it was the perfect script, it was the time.
Mm-hmm.
It all has to come together.
Mm-hmm.
This is called Shit Talking with Wendi McLendon. This is my top patrons, patreon.com/insatiable. Thanks for supporting me and the podcast. I appreciate you. Thanks. Leanne, if you had to choose a theme song for your life, what would it be and why?
My theme song
What is it?
has always been Peg from Steely Dan. And it has been that way since I first heard the song as a child. That has always been my theme song.
Dude,
And when you smile for the camera, I know they're gonna love it. Yeah, so it's about a girl that went on to do big things, and I just love it.
Jen T. On the Goldbergs, Bev is a top-notch cook.
Mm-hmm.
Do you cook? And if so, what is your favorite meal to make?
I'm not terrible. I'm not a terrible cook,
Really?
but I'm not going to say I'm the best. I
If you had to make
I have
something.
jags where I cook a lot and then I just order takeout for months and months. But I do make something called a barbecue goddess chicken pizza, where I home make the
Oh my God.
the crust myself. And
You have a pizza cooker?
I
or
don't.
Oh.
No,
Oven?
I don't have that. Yeah, it's quite delightful. Very colorful. Lots of peppers on it.
I said pizza
It's like
cooker.
sweet and sour pizza cooker. We knew what you meant.
Yeah, but who says pizza cooker? Why couldn't I figure out oven?
It's all right. It's all right.
Thank you.
You have a way with words.
I don't, but thank you. Jessica B., what do you do when you get overwhelmed with something?
Ooh. Well, that's interesting because in my old age, I find that I need to spend a lot of time alone. Like if I go to a big concert or something, after that, the next day, I can't talk to anybody just from the overwhelm of the night before.
Too much stimulation.
Too much stimulation.
Yeah.
So I'm really good at powering through things. Like if I'm on set and I feel overwhelmed or whatever, I'm really good at sucking it up and going. Just keep going, keep going. Is that good for me? I don't know, but it's what has to be done. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Elizabeth Al, what is a coping mechanism you have when your mind starts to go to dark places?
Oh boy, that happens a lot.
Me too.
I have to change my physicality. So if I'm pouting in a chair, I have to get up and do something, just walk around, move things around.
Yeah.
Just do that. Change whatever I'm listening to, because whatever it wasn't helping. So I got to put on something, maybe my theme song.
Maybe Peg.
Yeah. I am someone who has to have background noise at all times.
I feel like I do too.
Yeah. So the TV is always on.
Yes. I see your picture. Come on.
Your name in lights above it.
Okay, that's all we can play.
Oh,
without getting
oh
sued.
yeah, fair use.
But you say, you have to get up. You have to do these things.
Change your physicality. Change whatever you can control in your environment at that moment. Shift it a little bit.
Yeah.
So put on music or turn on the TV or turn it off, whatever.
Yeah.
Take a drink of water. Do some deep breathing.
Do you get anxiety or depression? Have you had that?
Yeah, I've been medicated for years and years.
Me too. What do you want? You don't have to tell me.
I'm on Effexor. And
I'm
it
on
is-
Lexapro.
Okay.
Things work differently for everybody. Everybody has a different brain chemistry.
Do you get brain zaps if you don't take your Lexapro at the same exact time?
I don't take. I do take it every morning when I wake up, but I don't get brain zaps. But sometimes I think it's working a little less and less. Sometimes I think it's okay.
Okay.
So kind of, I don't know if I need to go up or I don't know, but
Right.
it did change my life in a lot of ways. The last year and a half, I just felt like I wasn't worried about so much shit. I was just like, let's do this. I'm not going to get nervous about everything. I'm not going to get, freaked out. So it did help me with a lot. Don't you think it helped? You think?
That's interesting.
In a lot of ways.
Mhm.
All right. I'm like, really? Sure.
That's right. Not Mike's, but yes.
No, the medication of it all, it's very interesting. I didn't want to go on it, but when I went on it, it worked immediately. And I could feel the difference. I couldn't walk across the room for 2 weeks because of the brain zaps and the dry mouth and the dizziness. But, it eventually, your body becomes accustomed to it. Now, I can never go off it without being put into a medical coma, probably, because Effexor is like the worst one to get off of.
It is.
Yeah.
I got on an Effexor. See, it worked great for you. That's why they say when someone says this works, don't think it works for you because chances are it probably doesn't, but it could. I tried Effexor and I was out of my mind. I was having the worst anxiety attacks. It was worse than ever. I had to get off it immediately.
Oh,
But some people swear by Effexor.
wow.
And the same thing with Lexapro. Lexapro is one of those, it's been around a while.
Yeah.
So I felt safe doing it. But there's times when I'm thinking, because I get certain side effects that I'd like to sort of get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it's worth it, because then you have to try something else. And you're like, you have to go through that. And that is the biggest pain in the ass. It's like you have to try it for a couple of weeks. And you could be really struggling hard for those 2 or 3 weeks before you go, okay, this isn't working.
And the withdrawal is brutal.
Brutal. Yeah.
No, it's and again, like there are times when you should feel anxious. Like you don't want to dull yourself to where you don't feel anything. You should feel anxious sometimes. You should feel scared and depressed sometimes. Emotions help you, navigate through life and understand what's good and bad.
Yeah.
Like I worry when I hear people, oh, I've got Ativan in my purse the whole, at all times. I got some Valium, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, so you don't really know how to live in the world, do you? You're in for a rude awakening. If your little pharmacy goes away at some point, you're not going to be able to cope.
And you're expecting something to happen, and then you have something to do for it. But it's this pill, this thing so you're in perpetual just like uncertainty of what's going to happen with you.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing with being on something like an antidepressant or anti-anxiety consistently gives you a sense of normalcy. And you don't feel like, I never feel like, oh my God, I'm going to fall off the deep end. I feel like, okay, I could get a little low. But it's not going to be like it was.
Yes.
And I don't want to have to rely on drugs like Xanax, which are fucking terrible for you and all these, so yeah, I mean, look, I eventually like to wean off it, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I just don't know what's good. This has been an absolute joy. You're a joy. You're a joy. You already you're doing so much. What else is going on now?
I'm on a new series on NBC called St. Denis Medical.
Yes.
And so that finally
Wasn't that creators
debuts.
of The Office?
Yes. Well, not the creators, but some of the people that worked on it on The Office.
How fun is it?
Superstore, American Auto. So it's been really fun. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky because they ordered this pilot in 2023. Okay. We finally got to go to work in 2024, and the damn thing is finally premiering in 2 weeks.
What network?
So, NBC.
St. Denis.
St. Denis Medical.
St. Denis Medical.
With David Allen Greer.
Great.
Which is a dream come true.
Ugh.
I've been a big fan of his for years and years, as are most people. Allison Tolman, who's a gem.
That's got to be difficult, though, because it's a lot of improv, right?
Yes and no.
Because I can't imagine being a doctor and having to improvise like doctor lingo.
Oh, no, you absolutely can't.
No,
you can't.
You have to say those lines.
You have to say those lines. And we have, medical techs that help us look like we know what we're doing. But it's been an absolute joy. We're very, very lucky. And I think it's funny. I'm not sure. I hope you guys like it. I think it's funny.
You're extremely funny. And you know what I like about it is you're open. You're easy to talk to. You sort of like, you're not old, but you've lived where you've gone through enough in your life that you could finally kind of go, I think I know who I am.
Yeah.
I think I know what makes me tick. I think I know what upsets me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to deal with people more.
Right.
Like,
right.
You start to experience good relationships, bad relationships, and that's just experience in general.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think I could see that. I could see a maturity that's like, I know how to do this. I'm a professional.
Exactly. That's the wisdom that comes with age. You're like, I think I probably know how this is going to turn out. Like I've seen this scenario enough times. I'm not going to second guess myself. At this point, I'm just going to, bet on myself.
Yeah.
I think I'm a pretty good bet. I don't know.
I think you're a pretty good bet. St. Denis Medical.
Yeah.
Check that out on Fox. NBC.
NBC.
Don't go to Fox. NBC. Wendi McLendon, you're awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Wendi, for being on the podcast. We got some other great podcasts coming up, so keep listening. That's all I could say. And join patreon.com/inside. Patreon.com/inside. If you want to support the podcast, we need you. And right now, the top tier patrons, these are the people that give the most back to the podcast. And without them, we wouldn't have a show, Ryan. So why don't you say thank you to all those patrons?
Let's
thank them.
let us.
And there's other patrons that aren't on this list that aren't the top tier that I love and that are awesome for supporting us. So I love you guys too. But here are the top tiers. Nancy Davis, Little Lisa, Yukiko. Hi, Yukiko. Yukiko's been around for a while. Little Lisa, Nancy D, Brian H, Camp. We gotta go to a concert, man. Niko P, come on, Zach. Rob L, Rob, you've been here. And Jason, Dreamweaver. Sophie, gosh, you've been here for a while. And Raj. Oh, Raj. Jennifer N, come on, Jennifer. Stacy L and Jamal F, Janelle B. They've been around. Mike L down Supremo, 99 more, Santiago M, Maddie S. All these people, they've been here a long time, Ryan. They're supporting me.
I know. Kendrick F, Belinda N, Dave H,
Dave Hole,
Brad D, Ray H, Tabitha T, Tom N,
Love
Talia M, Betsy D, Rhiannon C, Michelle A, Jeremy C, Eugene and Leah.
Would that be Lugene?
Lugene.
Julia. Together.
Eugenia. Julia sounds like a fun way of just saying Julia. Hello, my name is
Mel S, Eric H, Oracle. I mean, you guys are fantastic. You know, maybe one episode I'll just look in the camera and I'll say their name and I'll say, I love you. What do you think?
Yeah.
Amanda R, Amanda K, Kevin E, I love you. Jorel, Jammin J, Leanne J, I love you. Luna R, Jules M, Jessica B, Kaylee J, I love you. Charlene A, Marion Louise L, Romeo the Band, Frank B, Jen T, April R, I love you. Ryan?
Randy S, Claudia, just Claudia.
Claudia.
Rachel D, Nick W, Stephanie Evans, Stefan, Charlene A, Don G, Jenny B, 76, Tina E, NG, Tracy.
Yes.
Keith B, Heather and Greg.
Grather.
Love
you. Love Keith B and Angie Tracy, all of them, Tina. Yeah. And LEK, Ben B Jammin, Pierre C, Sultan, Ingrid, I love you. Christina S, Dave T, David L, Jill and Brett, Jeff G, Kareem H, I love you. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for supporting me, continuing to support the podcast. And from the Hollywood Hills in Hollywood, California, I'm Michael Rosenbaum.
I'm Ryan Tejas.
We got to do a bonus episode soon.
A bonus?
Yes, we
should.
Wave to the camera. We love you. And thank you again for listening to the podcast. And be good to yourself. We'll see you.